Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of the Vital Pursuit podcast. We are back in the garage tonight, and we are joined with a very special guest, one of my best friends in the whole world, Josh freaking Warner.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, it's good to have you, dude.
Yeah, it's great. This is fun.
Yeah, what do you think? You like the
studio
setup here?
Studio came out better than I expected.
Yeah.
I mean, black walls go really well with that turkey mountain.
Yeah.
Everything came out great in here. It's awesome.
Yeah, so Josh is I guess you're a carpenter. We call you a carpenter?
Yeah, I mean,
carpenter?
I went to school for my building degree, so-called building degree. You could call it a carpenter, but I tell everyone I do interior remodeling, which is still carpentry, but finished carpentry more so than rough carpentry. But
sure,
carpenter would be the professional title,
we'll
I would say.
Carpenter. That's what everybody's going to understand. So, yeah, he had to help me give a little advice on the wall because, I'm just a dumb plumber, so I don't know how to do all that wall stuff, but... Yeah.
It looks good, man. You did a good job. You did a really good job.
Yeah, it turned out cool. So happy with it. But, it's been a little long overdue, I feel like, that you haven't been on yet.
Busy life, busy times.
Busy.
We're still early in the podcast career.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's good to be here.
We're just starting, so we have plenty of time. But hopefully we'll have you on a ton to talk about. My goal is to at least have you on, during or after every major hunting season so we can talk about that stuff,
Absolutely.
Which is one of the main reasons we're here today is talk about turkey season.
Turkey season.
Which we will get to. It's been great for some and not so great for others, and we'll talk about all that. But I think to start, why don't we just kind of talk about how we met and, how we became good friends and kind of how we got here. So I'll let you take over there,
Yeah, well, I mean... Well, we've been pretty close for probably close to 8 or 10 years now, I would say.
Yeah.
About when did you get married?
Well, I got married in 2018, and we were just, I would say, starting to become actual
and
closer
spend
friends.
Time hunting together and doing such.
We were just kind of casual, doing a few things together, buddies.
Right.
But I didn't live here yet either, which we started to become close friends when I was still in Ohio.
Yeah, and only really got to spend time together when you were up here on family trips for the most part.
Right. I mean, I think you came down there once.
I did come down there once in 2020 when all of Indianapolis was tore up in construction.
It's still tore up, just FYI.
Oh, my God.
Changes.
Drew says, 5-hour drive about. Yeah, that took me 8 hours at middle of the night.
Well, if I told you the truth, you would have came, so I had to make it sound a little better.
I guess. That's one way to get me down.
That was a fun trip. There's some good stories on that trip. But,
yeah.
We had a good time.
Save those stories for another podcast.
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
Yeah, we were a little young and dumb then.
Fun times though.
Yeah, so we started to get a little bit closer, I'd say, after we got married. But we met in probably,
oh man, I was probably
you were in high school,
freshman or sophomore in high school because I wasn't even driving yet because you had that old Chevy, that Silverado, and you drove me around.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot you weren't even driving.
No, yeah, so it's been probably 10 years or over, honestly.
Yeah, because you're 25?
I'll be 25
You'll be
this
25.
year, so probably right around 10 years.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
yeah, so I mean, we kind of met through a good friend, Hudson.
Yeah.
Hudson is sisters with your wife, so I spent...
Brother, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Same thing. Family is family. So that's kind of how I met you. Once you started coming up here to see Cassie, me and Hudson were always hanging out together, and then I think one of the first things we did was you came out on the boat fishing with us one day. Yeah. And then, we just started kind of hitting it off, and same hobbies. Yeah. Spent a lot of time together. And
yeah, a lot of the same interests, and, I think we started to bond a little bit just talking about life and going through hard stuff.
Life, and we both had gone through some stuff that we needed a good friend to support us through, and you were there for me. I hope I was there for you. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of the beginning of the friendship, really.
Yeah, it's like looking back, just talking to a few people for podcasts and just talking to people in general. It's interesting. I've noticed some of my best friends, when I go back and try to figure out how we became really close, I really can't point to an exact moment, and I think that's kind of telling of. It was just, I don't know, it was you were meant to be friends with that person. I don't know why or how specifically,
I agree with that because it's there's not one specific moment. It's just you kind of bond over the course of spending time together. Right?
It just kind of starts happening.
Yeah, it's just like one thing leads up to another, and then you become close, and it's like, all right, here we are.
Yeah, and then I moved, obviously, to Wisconsin with Cassie, and that I got to say, like, knowing you were here was a big like, it's gonna be okay to go to Wisconsin because like I really didn't know anybody else other than family. But I knew you, and then through you I met a couple other buddies, but. It was really nice knowing that I at least had like one really good friend, and then obviously we got super close once I got here. But yeah, it's nice. We try to get together once a week if we can. Now schedule doesn't always allow that, but we try to get together and cook some wild game or buy Chick-fil-A at the least. And we just had Chick-fil-A tonight. Just had Chick-fil-A. Try to get together and keep up. It's funny as we get older. Like I know when we first met, we were like big phone buddies, Snapchat, texting all the time.
Yep.
And now we both have like, as we've grown, we've started hating our phones more and more. So like now we'll text like twice a week, maybe like one text.
I don't even have a Snapchat anymore.
Yeah, you don't even have a Snapchat anymore. And it's so nice though, because then we prioritize getting together in person and then we catch up like real humans.
Well, that's the nice thing I feel like about kind of avoiding the Snapchat, social media, text conversations. If you know you can hold a conversation with a person, do it in person.
Right.
That's my take on it. Yeah. It's more personable. You don't have to worry about replying in the middle of a conversation. You're there.
Right.
You cover everything you need to know in person.
Right. Well, and it's like there's nothing more annoying, and I'm sure you have people that do this, but then like you go to see somebody and then you sit there and they're just like on their phone.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, why are you here? And like we never have that problem because we haven't talked on the phone. So it's like we have a ton to talk about. So there's no like, I just want to scroll my phone. Like,
and it's like, what is so important that you can't hold a conversation that you have to be on your phone doing something else?
Man, Austin, I just did a podcast with him a week or so ago, and I learned this trick from him. So obviously you can do like do not disturb on iPhones.
Yeah.
Well, that shuts off everybody. But what I have is it's called like a slow down mode I made. And I keep that thing on like all the time almost. And you wouldn't notice it because there's like 5 people I have that are allowed to text through it.
Oh, okay.
It's like if they text me, I want to respond. Sorry for everybody that's not, but it just helps me like not be worried about responding to stuff. So basically it screens everything unless it's from those 5 people, and I don't see the notifications. So like my phone never goes off.
That's nice.
And if it's an emergency, if you call twice within like 3 minutes, it'll push it.
Oh, I gotcha.
So if there was an emergency and someone was trying to get a hold of me, they could. But it just like Instagram, Facebook, it silences all those notifications and I don't see them.
And just takes that away from dinging your phone and showing up on your home screen and all that.
Or even if you have it on silent, like you check the time and you see the notification and then you're like, oh, well,
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's kind of one of the reasons why I got rid of Snapchat and Instagram for the most part.
Yeah.
It's useless time a lot.
Oh,
you
for sure.
Sit on Instagram looking at the reels for 45 minutes to an hour a night. Like, really?
Right.
And granted, I still have Facebook. I do that on Facebook sometimes, which I catch myself doing it, and I'm like, okay, this is stupid.
Right.
But for a while there on Instagram, I'm just sitting there wasting time. I'm like, in an hour, I could have done something around the house useful. I could have cleaned something. I could have spent that hour having a conversation with my girlfriend. I dedicate that time to her more rather than sit on my phone.
Right.
And that was one reason why I never got a TikTok. Because I felt like I'd be glued to that. And it is addicting, man.
It's made to be.
Those reels are addicting.
Yeah.
And the Snapchat thing, too. What the hell is up? I don't know if it's still like this, because it's been it's been a year and a half. 2 years I ain't had a Snapchat?
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But when I got rid of it, I had Snapchat streaks with people who I haven't talked to in person in probably 2 or 3 years, where I'd literally send a blank photo and receive a blank photo just to keep that little fiery streak number going.
Yeah. So stupid.
Is that still like that?
Yeah, it's still like that for sure.
I thought that was the dumbest thing. And you look at your phone and just to check the time, like you were saying, and there's 27 Snapchat notifications. Oh, who Snapchatted me? No.
It's like blank screens.
Screw that. I'm done with that.
It's so dumb. And it's like life is short and we have a finite amount of time that we're here. And it's like, you look at your, what always hits me is Sunday. I always get a notification about my screen time.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that. And I'm like, let's say it's 5 hours or 6 hours or whatever. And I'm like, that's 6 hours.
That's a
I
lot.
could have been with Sadie.
That's a lot.
Or Cassie. Now, let me say, mine's a little high because all this stuff, I do most of the stuff on my phone. So like all the time I'm in my photo album editing stuff like that.
That's screen time.
That's screen time, unfortunately. But mine has went dramatically down even just since you haven't been on Instagram. Because like I used to send stuff to you all the time,
Right, and that was kind of fun though.
I don't have anybody to snap when I poop now. It's kind of lame.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? The screen time report. If you can like dial that in and you can look at what apps you actually spend your screen time on.
Yeah.
So if you go in, like when it sends you that notification, if you click on it and go into it, it shows you per app what is eating up your screen time.
Interesting.
And back when I was kind of addicted to using Instagram a hell of a lot more, I would look at my screen time and it's like 74% Instagram, 20% Snapchat. Like, that's all it is right there.
And like you said, what's the point? At the end of the day, like, I mean, sure, there's stuff you do just to make you happy, but like, go talk to somebody, dude. Go have a conversation with somebody. You're going to be way more fulfilled at the end of the day than just doom scrolling, and like there's scientific research out there about like how bad it is. Like you start looking at other people's life, and here's one for two guys who are so invested into hunting. You want to talk about getting down on yourself? Like you work all season and then you shoot a 4-pointer or a 6-pointer or whatever, you just put meat in the freezer. And it's like, then you see, it seems like everybody shot a 180-inch deer last year on Instagram.
Well,
it's not accurate. They don't show all the people who didn't.
Right.
But like, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do a YouTube channel is to be like, hey, there's people out here who don't kill something all the time because it's not guaranteed.
Right.
Like there's days that they just blow. They suck. Like, this shit's hard. Like hunting is hard.
It is.
And I feel like Instagram, everybody says it's a highlight reel, and that's all it is. It's like a highlight reel of your life.
Well, one other thing too that kind of pisses me off, and I mean, as you grow in YouTube, I'm sure you're gonna experience this too. But like all the haters and the people that are jealous, like damn well a lot of those hate comments are all just jealousy. Yep. I see it on Facebook a lot because I'm in some group chats for like just Wisconsin deer hunting and fishing and all kinds of other stuff. It's like someone will post a picture of small fish, small buck. They shoot a jake during turkey season. Then for shits and gigs, I always look at comments normally, and it's like 12-year-old kid shot a jake or something. I recall looking at a post this spring. People are just ripping them apart. Who cares, dude?
Yeah.
Like, so what? It's not a mature tom. Like, why let the kid shoot a little jake? Wait till a real tom comes. Like, shut up.
Right.
It was probably the kid's first turkey.
And who cares if it wasn't?
Who cares
if it wasn't?
Who cares if you shot 7 jakes? Like,
it's it is like, I think, and I don't know. There's a fine line here because obviously both of us do want to shoot like a big deer or a big turkey, but I do think trophy hunting in general, like, it has hurt a lot. Like the people who don't just hunt like for the love of hunting anymore. And, I think that's one reason we have always bonded so much over hunting was it has never been a competition.
Oh, right.
And like, I'm just going to be honest, like you generally outperform me every year. And I mean, there's a lot of factors, you don't have kids, whatever, but like still you're a better hunter than me and you do extremely well. But the thing I love about us and with your dad too is the instant excitement when one of us succeeds, no matter what it is. Your dad's excitement was just the same for that 4-pointer on the wall, my first buck, as it was for the freaking slob you shot this year. Like he was just as excited.
Yeah.
And that is what's so special is that bond.
I mean, that's how it should be. And I mean, I was with you for your first deer harvest ever, and it was a doe.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We were so jacked.
It's your first deer, and your first deer was with a bow, where I bet you most Wisconsinites, your first deer is probably with a gun.
Right.
And you did it with a bow. And I was there to help you track it, teach you how to field dress a deer and drag it out with you and experience all that. And, man, I was super excited for you. And your excitement was out of the world. I mean, it's just like in 15 years, you're probably going to look back and you have 20 does under your belt.
Right.
But that one, you're going to remember a lot more.
Always.
A lot more than the others.
Always. Man, the freaking memories, you know, and we'll talk about more specific trips later, but the memories we've got to make, like getting to hunt together. I mean, everything in this podcast studio, which you can't see everything, but the pheasant on the wall, you know, obviously you were out west this year for my buck, but this turkey right here, like you were there with that, you know, like the memories that just the stories and the memories and that excitement after a kill or a successful hunt, like the excitement we share is
great.
Nothing tops that.
No,
like
it's just great to share it with someone who values it as much as yourself.
Yeah. And you know, I don't want to dog too much on the hunting community. Like I will say, I think honestly, as much negativity as there is a really big wave of like good, ethical, positive hunters right now. And I think like honestly, I'm going to say the hunting public guys I think they started it, and I think they've kept it going because that is a group of guys like us.
Yeah.
They all work.
Right.
Most of them all have real jobs.
Yeah, and they're good dudes.
They're good dudes. They're all excited for each other. Like they've really helped, I think, shape that mentality of just dogging on everybody for the fun of it. Like they've kind of helped, I think, cut that out a little bit.
And they're not knocking on people for shooting small deer or anything like that either. And that's the thing that pisses me off is when you're taking someone's success and you're turning it into a negative.
Right.
Like, I hate that.
Right.
I can't stand that.
No, because you're just, like, you're not, what people don't understand is you're not demeaning the animal. You are demeaning the hours that went into that person being successful on whatever they could get their hands on, because that's real life. Right. Like, 76 hours I sat in a stand to shoot a 4-point last year. 76 hours. Like
76 hours well spent, though.
And I don't regret it a bit. Yeah. But, like, you know, that's a lot of time. So if somebody gets on and talks shit about a 4-point, it's like, you don't see the hours. You don't see how much I learned last year in my 3rd year bow hunting. Yeah. You don't see how much I learned, how I grew as a hunter from day one. Just, I mean, and we talked about it all through the season, but from opening day to the day I killed that, I was like a different hunter by the end of it.
No, that's the best way to learn is time in the field.
Right.
I mean, you pick up on so much every time you're out. If you really fine-tune, like, your attention span when you're in a tree stand, when you're walking out, when you're walking in your tree stand, preseason scouting, all that just adds up, and you learn so much about the properties you're on.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Those are, like, my favorite conversations, when I'll learn something and then I, like, try it and it works, and I get to tell you, like, hey, I like when I tried the new method for walking in that day, and then I had a chance to kill that, I think it was a trident, that one buck. I didn't.
That split G3.
Yeah. I walked in really loud that day, and I learned that from the hunting public. That's that stupid ladder stand, which, by the way, that stand is no longer huntable. That tree is so dead, you can't hunt that. Nobody can hunt that stand. I won't be in it.
I'll have to pull that.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's a nice stand, though.
It is, but there's no cover. A little rabbit trail here. There's no cover on that stand, and you just get picked off so bad. The only way you don't, I had 2 small bucks come in from behind me this year, and they never picked me off. But if anything comes from the front, which is where you really want,
that's where you want the shot, yeah.
They pick you off so fast. They stop at like 30 and are just going, hey, like you're just,
shit.
You're skylined.
Yeah, we might have to move that somewhere then.
I don't know where to move that stand, but I have no idea. That thing's a monster too.
Figure it out. Yeah.
I don't know. I would if I could go back, I would not have bought a ladder stand at all. I love hanging.
They're nice for gun. Their ladder stands are nicer for gun hunting to me than bow hunting. But a lot of people love bow hunting out of them. They're safer. They're hands down safer.
Oh yeah, for sure. You don't have to worry about a Harbor Freight ratchet strap breaking and almost falling like last weekend. That's fun.
Lesson learned. Don't buy.
Yeah,
Harbor
lesson
Freight
learned.
Ratchet
Not
straps.
Shout out Harbor Freight. I was hanging a stand last weekend, and I got all the sticks up, and I get up to the platform, which the platform to me is the sketchiest part, because it's that initial moment of getting on it that sketches me out, right? Mm-hmm. Well, thankfully, shout out Latitude, they have an amazing lineman's. So I was strapped to the tree. I put my first foot on it, and like simultaneously putting my foot on it, I look at the orange strap and realize that I see a lot of tree and not a lot of orange in one spot, and it just goes boop, It just snaps. Like the tree cut the strap. A tree cut the strap. So I put another one on and started pushing on it and watched it snap that one too. So
yeah, I wouldn't be buying those again.
yeah, I left one up there to make it look like it's up there, but it's definitely just hanging by the main one. But I got to go back and put a new one on there. But
that's all right.
Yeah, you'll have that.
Yeah,
so.
It'll happen.
Anyways, but yeah, I think something I've always appreciated about you is, and it was something on my mind I wanted to talk about a little bit, and it's not to blow smoke up your ass, but to be 24 years old, you've been very successful, in my opinion, and everybody else can bite me. You've been very successful at, I don't really fish that much. You've been successful at that too, but killing turkeys and killing deer, you've been extremely successful, in my opinion, and you don't act like it. And not that it's okay to be proud of it, but you've never been cocky about it. You countless year after year, that we've been bow hunting together, you've shot a great buck, and you've never been like, "Oh, Drew, when you gonna kill a buck?" Like,
I would never be
and
like that.
I know you never would, but I just appreciate how humble you are with it, and one, how much time you've taken, which I've thanked you before, but I'll publicly thank you now. We were just talking about it with the turkey column, but I have been so lucky. Like, I've only been bow hunting for 3 years, legitimately. And to have you and your dad to teach me has made it so much easier.
That's great.
You guys have helped me so much and been there to drag out deer, and when I forget stuff, help me, remind me what to do, and you guys have just been the best. And one of the reasons I love talking about this stuff is for the 15-year-old whose dad doesn't hunt and needs somebody to
yeah,
you're doing good, bud.
Yeah.
Sure, you didn't kill a turkey. That's okay.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Right.
It's okay.
Right.
Everybody needs somebody like that in their life.
Exactly.
And I've been blessed to have you guys, but everybody needs somebody like that.
Yeah, we love doing it though. I mean,
yeah,
it's fun.
It's who you are.
Wouldn't do it for everyone, but you're an exception.
Yeah, I'm cute.
I'm just kidding.
I'm cute. One main thing I wanted to chat about today was turkey season. So, like I said, I think it'd be cool to have you on specifically around each season and talk about success, failure, tactics, how we did, stories, and whatever. So we'll jump into that. So if you don't know, quick rundown how Wisconsin works. It's not one big turkey season here. It's broken up into 5 or 6. 5.
A, B, C.
Yeah, use your fingers.
E, 6 different periods.
It's broken up into 6 different periods, A through F, and the year prior to when you're planning on hunting, you have to basically go online and put in which you want to hunt for. You get your first selection, and then it's kind of like out west stuff, honestly. And then you get a secondary option, and then they send you a letter in the mail that says what you got. And then a couple months before the season, you do get the opportunity to buy a bonus tag or a couple bonus tags for whatever's left over.
Yeah, the leftover tag, essentially.
And you have capitalized on those a lot.
I always buy as many bonus tags as I can get. I mean, it's just, this year specifically, I feel like the late season
was better.
Way better than the early season. And period A, I mean, it threw us some pretty shitty weather.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was probably 3 or 4 days of that season, at least in our area of the state, where it was raining.
Yeah.
40-mile-an-hour winds.
It was terrible.
I remember 2 mornings where it was just like a light mist.
Yep.
And just miserably wind, and that mist just slapping in your face, like, oh my God. And it's cold too. It was like every morning of period A it barely touched 40 in the morning.
Yeah.
At least that first light.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Yeah, there was some pretty crappy weather, which I think made the late seasons better, because as the season progressed, it really didn't get that warm until about period D-ish, period C, period D. And then that, I think, really fired the birds up a lot more and kind of got them out searching.
Yeah.
At least in my experience, I had a lot more gobbling times in the late season.
In F. I had more in F than I ever did in A.
Yeah.
For sure. Specifically
in F. They were going crazy in F, which a lot of times, I mean, I buy an F tag every year, and it's normally kind of a grind.
Yeah.
Birds are hunted hard.
A was the grind this year.
And I've hunted period F where it's like almost 90 degrees and you don't even want to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
But this year it was like in the 50s in the morning, and crisp, calm, beautiful weather, and they were fired up like hell.
Which is nice, the bonus tags, you can generally always get an E or an F.
Oh, yeah.
Which is nice.
Every year you should be able to, yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm such an overachiever. I already put in this year for my tag, and I wish I wouldn't have, because from now on, I'm going to get my first choice is going to be B.
B's a good season.
I think I'm going to do A.
The only reason I always do apply for A, and I mean, weather can be a factor. Of course, it can be perfect. I've rarely had it be warm, but it can be pretty warm in A. Most times it's pretty cold though.
Yeah.
And if it's like that, I feel like I don't have as much success turkey hunting. But the birds are completely unpressured, other than the youth hunt, which is the weekend, the Saturday and Sunday before that. And a lot of the areas I hunt, there is a fair amount of youth hunters, but the birds are still generally not used to calling, not used to guys walking through the woods at that time of year. So period A, you can get a dumb one to be dumber than they would.
Even in bad weather.
Yeah.
Just not this year specifically. Very easily.
Yeah. Period A was tough.
Yeah, it was tough.
Period A was definitely probably the hardest I've had to hunt for a tom in Wisconsin during a season. I hunted every single morning, and I killed my tom on the very last day of period A. You want to grab me a beer?
Yeah.
I started the season off a hunt, what is not my backyard, but the backyard to the property I rent on. The landlord is a great guy in general.
Backyard.
It's not my backyard. It is my backyard. But the landlord that I rent from is very generous enough to allow me to hunt on the 120 acres behind the house, and it is very good turkey hunting, very good deer hunting. And on the first morning, there was 2 spots that are particularly pretty good right away during the season on the property where either me or my dad had killed it within minutes of opening day. So I don't get too crazy about scouting like 3-4 weeks in advance for turkey season, just because so much changes in the weather. So I normally prioritize starting about 10 days before the season. I'll get up early in the morning, kind of listen for gobbles, and then try to watch at night and see where they're going into roost and stuff. And for about 5 days before period A, there was a group of toms that were hanging out, right? And there's an old cow pasture. My landlord used to have cows on. He doesn't anymore, but man, were they using that pasture this year. Every morning they'd fly right down into it. Every evening you'd see them cut across it and go right up to the roof.
Really? I didn't realize they were in... I didn't think they really used that pasture.
Yeah, the backside of the pasture, though. Not so much like the fence breaks it up into like the behind the barn pasture, and then there's like 20 acres of pasture through the fence. He's got a gate. But now that he doesn't have the cows anymore, it's kind of just one big pasture.
Okay.
So anyways, they were flying down in there, but then there's also very open hardwoods, oak and hickory based hardwoods, just roosting trees like you can't even imagine, just big oaks all over the place, wide open, just perfect turkey ground. So either in there or the pasture, birds have been using it every day. So I told my dad, either take the hardwoods or the pasture, wherever you want to hunt.
Right.
One of us is going to get a bird on opening day. Right. I felt really confident about it. And the weather lined up to be absolutely perfect on opening day. That was probably one of the best weather mornings all year. It was like 40s, low 40s in the morning, and just dead calm, clear as can be.
And legitimately probably the only really nice day.
It was. Oh, hands down.
Like,
it was.
it.
Other than Tuesday, the following Tuesday morning, which was the same weather, and I ended up killing that bird, but we'll get there. And the night before, I was like, Dad, you take either the pasture or the woods, go wherever you want. Like, both spots are probably equally as good. And he doesn't know the property as well as I do. Just doesn't spend as much time as I do. And the hardwoods is a bit of a walk. You got to kind of know your way around, and especially you got to walk in there really quiet because they roost. I mean, the hens were roosting there like crazy. So you don't want to blow that out without getting lost and shit and knowing where the hell you are in the morning.
Which sometimes Mark gets lost.
Yeah, right. And the pasture, I mean, it's just a pasture,
right?
And there was one specific little hole. I didn't put a ground blind out there at all this year. I really don't love hunting turkeys out of a ground blind that much. I like to be mobile.
Same.
And I feel like I can cover myself better just on the ground being mobile.
Yeah.
But anyways, there was an old, I don't know if he had a tree stump ground out in the pasture or something, but there was a big divot in this pasture that you could we use those little ground chairs.
Yeah.
3-inch high ground chairs for turkey hunting. I love those things, man. They're lightweight, they're comfortable, and you always got a backrest.
Yeah.
I love that. So you can set that ground chair up in this little cut where to me, it looks like a ground out stump or something back in the day when the cows were in there.
Right.
And around it, these little like cedar bushes, pine tree things grew. And they were like perfect eye height once you set the ground chair in there. So it was essentially like a naturally made ground blind.
Yeah.
So I told him, I mean, a blind man can find it, right? So I told him kind of where to walk. I ended up pretty much walking him out there. And then I got him set up, put a hen decoy out for him in the pasture. And then I walked my way into the woods. And I mean, they were gobbling early that morning, man. They were probably gobbling 45 minutes before shooting lit.
Oh, wow.
Really early. And they were hammering. I figured there was probably over a dozen, maybe 14 times on the property that morning. They were going nuts. And I'm looking at my clock on my phone. I'm like, man, I had two in the hardwoods to the south of me under 100 yards that were just racking. One that was probably 50-ish yards on my, that would be my north side. So I'm sitting east to west. Yeah, so I had two on my south side, one on my north side. And my dad, I could hear where he was. They were just racking. They roost in tamarack trees a lot too down in the marsh. And the pasture butts up to the marsh. And they were roosting in the tamaracks on the edge of the pasture. And they were just going crazy down in there. And I keep looking at my phone. I'm like, God, these things are going to fly down any minute. I look at my phone. I'm like, shooting time. Here we go. Pretty soon. Not even 3 seconds after I think that, boom! I'm like, there's no way you got one already. Like, the season's been open 15 seconds.
Right.
I get a text, smoked one. I'm like, wow. And there was a lot of birds still up in the roost when he shot.
Yeah.
So all the birds that were in the hardwoods roosted, they scattered and they flew onto the neighbors. So at that rate, I thought my day was kind of done, which it was. But I went down to him, took some pictures. I was like, that's freaking awesome. That's pretty crazy. He said it flew down at 60 right in front of him, came in, he let out like 2 hen yelps on a mouth call, and it came into 12 yards. Just right, crested a ridge, and his head popped up, and he smoked him at 12 yards. Pretty cool. I kind of wish I'd been there sitting with him for it.
Yeah.
But anyways, then there actually was another bird that fired up on that property that morning that I was trying to chase after. He ended up coming pretty damn close, sounded like, to the edge of the pasture, and then I could hear some hens going at it too down there in the marsh, and he shut up. And before work on weekdays, I give myself about an hour and a half to hunt. And I don't want to be late to work because I'm hunting and get myself in trouble or anything. And I always give myself enough time. And for me, the way I scout evenings a lot. So I know where the birds are flying up. And in my experience, I notice a lot of times where they fly up from, they'll fly down from in the morning. I don't know if other hunters have had that same experience, but this year especially, a lot of the birds were flying up, spending the night flying down relatively in the same area. So I learned a lot from that. And that's how I hunted a lot of the birds. So if I didn't really have a bird in range or within a close distance to try to cut off in the first hour of light, I kind of felt like, screw it. You know what I mean? So it worked out for the way I hunt before work, only having that hour and a half time frame. And then, I don't know, man. The
rest day was rough. I mean,
so Thursday. What was Thursday?
Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. It was so windy. I ended up driving on my way to work. I drove past another property that I have permission on to hunt about 2 minutes from the house I rent, and there were 8 toms strutting in the field. And I was like, son of a bitch. They were probably about 15, 20 yards from where I was sat in a little cut down brush pile too. I'm like, son of a bitch. Well, I'm like thinking that, I'm like, hell, they'll be there in the morning again. And they were not very consistent on this property. So I was like, are they going to be there tomorrow or are they not? Right. They've really only been there maybe 3 out of 6, 7 days that I scouted there.
Yeah.
So ended up saying hell with it. I figured there was 8 toms there. Maybe one would come out. But no, I hunted there Thursday morning, and it was kind of shitty weather. It was really, really windy, and all the birds were on the neighbors. So that didn't work out. I didn't really see much that morning. Heard a lot of gobbling, but not on the property that I could hunt. And then Friday was that big storm.
Dude.
You hunted that day, too.
Yeah,
Right?
Friday started.
That was nasty, man. We got caught out in that
It
storm.
was bad.
Yeah, I ended up only hunting for about 30 minutes that morning before the lightning
Same.
was so close.
Same.
Dude, the lightning was scary that day.
Yeah.
Dude, the thunder was truly rattling the ground, and I was like, I'm just gonna leave. I didn't hear much for gobbles, a couple here and there, and I was like, it ain't worth
It was nasty.
not getting
Like,
struck by lightning.
That stuff started rolling in, and I mean, admittedly, I sat in a tree last year during a lightning storm during deer season, and that was stupid.
Not fun.
Like, I don't know why. Just sitting in the middle of that field I was in, I was like, nope, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah,
But
no, that's how I felt too, because I was in that hardwoods behind the house, and man, it was just booming. I don't like that.
that's like I don't know. It's hard to period A. Like, if I could summarize, the grind was like birds gobbling. As soon as it's time for them to get off the roost, they disappear. Like that was
There was not a lot
that
of
was my period.
There was not a lot of ground gobbling.
No, it's like
Yeah, for where I hunted, there was not a lot of ground gobbling.
I mean, they fired off pretty decent, especially that the second morning, Saturday.
That Saturday morning was one of the most gobbling mornings
Dude,
I
I
ever.
never saw a bird on the ground all day.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that was tough because that was a lot of toms. But that terrain is tough when they get down in the marsh like that. That's tough.
yeah,
That was truly one of the biggest roosts I've ever sat next to. I can't even tell you how many toms were gobbling, and that was a windy morning.
yeah,
That was a very windy morning, so we might not have even been hearing all the birds around in the area.
and there was a few to the east of me, I guess it would be where I was sitting, that you weren't hearing as good as I was.
And I know there was one up to the north side of the property on that little wooded island.
Yep.
That I know you said you didn't hear that one. And that bird,
No, but then he came back later, and I did see him.
oh, okay.
And I tried to
That bird would have been killable. He was the only.
sure.
He was the only tom on that little island.
I tried to make a move on him, and as I was doing that, all those other birds. Remember, all those other birds came across, and I texted you. I was like, "Hey," because you were like in reaping distance.
Yep.
And then that obviously didn't work out.
Yeah,
but
that was a big roost, though. I would say that within the property there was over 15, 16
there's a lot.
toms.
There's a lot.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, there was a lot. So
But yeah,
your dad killed right away, so that was good. Period A. Punched the tag.
yeah.
I ended up not killing anything, so I took off Friday. I hunted Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday was Easter, so obviously I didn't hunt that day. Just hung out with the family. I think that was Easter, right?
Yeah, I almost killed a bird that morning.
Yeah, you almost killed one before.
Yeah, I got really, really close a couple times.
But period A didn't turn out for me. I didn't even I can't even be mad. I didn't even have an opportunity. Like, I never got close to a bird. They just completely ghosted me.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So. But Monday rolls around. You hunt again on Monday, right? So just to clarify, Wisconsin turkey seasons go Wednesday to Wednesday.
Wednesday to Wednesday. So Wednesday opens the season. Tuesday technically closes it. Wednesday opens the next season.
So it's technically Wednesday morning to Tuesday night.
Yes. So Sunday morning was Easter. Sunday was Easter, and I did have an hour before I had plans to hunt, and I had 3 toms that I actually had in range, and I could see birds in range. The only thing was I decided to go into the marsh behind the house because that's where they were hanging it out, and it was so wet after all that rain we had gotten on Friday that I could not make a good ethical stalk. So they weren't coming into calls either. They were being fairly responsive, but they just would not come in. And I had it twice where I tried cutting them off slightly, and I could see birds at about 50 yards, 40, 50 yards. And I could see the turkeys. I just could not make out that red head. I didn't know what a hen was. I didn't know what a tom was. It was so freaking thick. It's all buckthorn and just nasty marsh grass with little pockets in the middle. I don't know why the hell they love being down in there so much, but they do.
It's safe.
It is.
They know it.
And I had that twice where I could have got a shot off. It had been a far shot, but I didn't. You're not going to shoot at something you don't know for sure. I mean, it's not worth that much. So I backed out of there, and I had to go to some Easter plans and stuff and got that all done. And then, Monday morning was horse shit. It rained all morning. I sat out there, too, and I didn't have much action. It rained. It rained good, and I left early again that morning just because I was soaked. And then Monday night was the one I got sometimes turkey hunting, I get way too overzealous and I get really jittery, and I just feel like I need to see what's over the next spot. I need to, what's over there? What's over there? They might come over here.
That's everyone doing turkey.
Yeah.
They make you second guess everything you thought you knew about turkey.
Yeah. So
every year.
So Monday evening, I sit in the pasture where, that spot on the property behind the house had rested now for probably 5-6 days, whatever, how long it'd been. So I sat over kind of close to where my dad killed that bird on opening morning, and I figured I'll try to cut them off on their way to the roost after work. I had about an hour and a half left. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, okay, this is probably a pretty good spot to try to cut one off. Sat there for about 25-30 minutes. Don't hear it. Obviously, I don't gobble a ton in the evening. So I'm sitting there just kind of bored, thinking, like, am I in the right spot? Am I not in the right spot? I think I'm in the right spot, but that spot over there looks pretty good. About 75 yards. So I'm like, I got time. I can move. So I went over there. I picked the spot because it looked like a trail was coming out of the marsh, and a big, gnarly looking oak tree was right over there. I'm like, that's got to be a roosting tree. And I do think it still was, because there was some turkey shit under it. So I was like, okay, this is the spot. I'm going to get one here. Set my little chair up, tuck myself in the grass, and I can see where I was sitting before. Probably moved about 65 yards. I shit you not even 3 minutes after I make that move, 3 toms, all studs, walk within spitting distance of this little bush I was sitting in. And I was so pissed. I was pissed. I'm like, why do I do this, man? I was just cursing myself. I'm like, why do I get so overzealous? Why do I do this? I can't stay confident. If they're not actively gobbling or I'm not seeing birds,
that's the problem.
I just want to move. I just want to keep moving. And it screwed me there. But whatever. I think I made up for Tuesday morning. It was a really cool hunt. And I ended up seeing the bird that I killed on Tuesday morning. I scouted a bit Sunday night, and I saw this bird out in a field on Sunday night, and I watched him go up into the roost. And I thought about hunting him on Monday morning, but with how shitty the weather was, I'm like, and it's a pretty far walk to get back there. I'm like, am I going to want to just be miserable, make that long walk before work? And he's probably not going to be fired up on just a windy, crappy, cold morning.
Right.
And I saw that Tuesday morning was going to be just beautiful, calm, clear, and crisp. I'm like, he's not going anywhere. No one's hunting back in there.
Right.
So I'm like, the hell with it. I'll just give him till Tuesday morning. And I knew if I didn't kill him Monday, that's where I was hunting Tuesday. And sure shit, I went in there Tuesday morning, got set up well before light, and he cracked off gobbling. I set up about 60 yards from his roost. He was gobbling like crazy on the limb. And then he flew down. I don't like to call at him too much in the roost just because I feel like I don't know. Don't really have a general reason why. I just don't call at him a ton of the roost.
I don't think it does even.
Yeah, it just makes them gobble, which is fun to hear. But sometimes I feel like, okay, they're probably going to notice that something's up.
Yeah.
So then there was 2 hens also, maybe about 75 yards roosted away from him, and those hens had flown down kind of far away. They probably flew about 200 yards out into a hayfield. And I was like, damn, that tom's for sure going to follow. Not even 30 seconds later, the tom drops straight down the tree. I'm like,
here we go.
He's on the ground. He's right there. So I just gave him a little soft cluck and a purr on the call, and he just hammered, cut me off instantly. So I'm like, oh, he's coming. He is coming.
Right.
And I, what felt like 5 minutes is probably like 2 minutes. I'm like, well, I know he's only like 60 yards. Why haven't I seen him yet?
Yeah.
So I let one other little cluck out, and he gobbled, and he was right there at like 30 yards. I'm like,
here we go.
But I had my call in my hand.
Oh, no.
I'm like, son of a bitch, because I didn't use the mouth call.
Yeah.
Use the pop call, and I'm like, damn it, he's right there. He's in range. So I slowly grab my gun, bring it up, and he doesn't see me at all. And I think he turns a little bit, looks at my decoys, perks his head up, and drops. I smoked him right there. That was a super cool hunt, really quick. I was only in there for like 5 minutes of legal light that morning. So that was super cool, man. When they're under 50 yards and they're gobbling, there's no sound in the woods that is like that. I mean, it's just so cool.
If you've never had a turkey, like, spitting and drumming and freaking screaming at you, like, 20, 30 yards away, like...
It's so cool.
I mean, like, whitetail hunting is a rush, but there is nothing like that heart-pounding, like, all of a sudden... like right behind you.
Once you feel it, like there's a distance. To me, it's like under 50 yards. I feel like you can hear a good loud gobble at 100-something yards. I mean, you can probably hear a hell of a lot farther than that. But you can tell a bird's close at 100 yards. But when they're 50 yards and in, you can feel that in your chest.
It's insane.
And that's just what drives me wild about turkey hunting is the vocalization.
Yeah,
it's like I want to experience bugling elk out west.
Right.
And turkeys to elk is not a comparison at all, but it's just that vocalization.
Right.
Of being in the woods, knowing that an animal is coming towards you,
right,
and constantly hear it getting closer, closer, and closer. It's like, oh man, especially when you get a real fired up Tom and they come in all beat red in the face. God, that shit is so.
It's addicting. Cool. There's something about communicating with an animal. You know?
Oh yeah,
I think it taps into like a primal instinct, but. That's the thing about turkey hunting is like instantly like, oh yeah, he's in.
Yeah.
Just by watching his body language and to know that you're able to do something that then causes a wild animal to react to you like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like duck hunting a little bit, and I think, there's something to be said for calling ducks is kind of the same thing, but
calling
anything where you watch that animal react to you, whether it's you grunt at a deer and it reacts, or you call it a turkey and it reacts. Like there's something about watching an animal be like, oh yeah,
right.
It just fires.
Yeah, it's great. It is great. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. So that was period A. So you and your dad both tagged out period A, and then B, he didn't hunt, right?
No tags for B, C, or D.
Period. I thought you had a D, but no
D tag.
Okay,
so I don't have any. I was gonna buy a Zone 1 D tag, but that fell on Mother's Day weekend, and I normally
that's right.
I normally am able to get a bonus tag for Zone 1 for period C, which works out great because that is our opening weekend for harvesting of game fish. So all the trout streams on Zone 1, we like to go turkey hunting and trout fishing the same weekend, so that really works good. But I got a terrible position in line for the leftover tags this year, so D was available, but Mother's Day weekend I can't be gone.
No, it's
can't be gone for that whole weekend, and then E was available, so I bought E for down here, Zone 2, and out there, Zone 1.
I could have got an E-tag this year. I chose not to because I had a baby that week. So I knew it was coming, and I'm like, you probably just get an F-tag, which is amazing. I got to hunt that week. But anyway, so fast forward to E. So I didn't have an E-tag. You did. So Wednesday morning of E.
Wednesday morning of E, I set up on a bird that, once again, I watched for multiple nights before. And fast forward a little bit. To this day, we're on June 2nd right now. About when was period E? You got a calendar here? That was probably second week of May, third week of May, second week of May.
It was period E was second week.
Sometime around there. So this bird, for about a week prior to E, was using this one spot in the field, and to this day, I just drove by the property again on Sunday morning, and he's still using the exact same spot. Son of a bitch!
Really?
Yep. That stupid bird. I set up. I hunted that bird.
Mocking you.
I hunted that bird twice in E and twice in F, I want to say, or once in F. Once in F. So I hunted that bird 3 times. He's a smart son of a bitch. He's one of the biggest toms I've seen down here. He's probably pushing a 12-inch beard. I mean, that thing is just fat and just dragged on the ground. I mean, he's a big bird.
Yeah.
And Wednesday morning, I set up on him, and man, I set up close to him. I almost wondered if I set up too close to him because I didn't really have a specific tree picked out that he was roosting in. I just knew the general area where he was flying up and roosting in. Couldn't really tell exactly where. So I set up what I thought was about 60, 70 yards away from it, but I set up probably more like 35 yards away from him that morning, and I could not see him on the limb. I was set up in a bunch of pine trees. I had really good cover, so I couldn't really see outside of it, just in the general area where I wanted to have my shooting lane.
Yeah.
But man, I was way too freaking close to him. And he pitched down at about 90 yards. And he sat there, dude, for like 45 minutes full strut in one area. Like, just stayed there, didn't move, spun around in his little circles, full strut.
Oh, that's the worst.
I didn't realize it, but there was 2 hens that I couldn't quite see on the edge of the field that were just sitting there kind of doing the same thing, and I ended up seeing them when I peeked my head out a little bit later. But he ended up going on, cut across the property, and that was pretty much the end of that morning. And he never gobbled once on the ground. He was just there strutting in the same spot, whatever. And then Thursday morning of I hunted behind the house Thursday morning. My landlord had told me that they were on Wednesday morning that they were strutting and gobbling back in the back hayfield. So I sat back there on Thursday morning, and man, I had a bird coming out. That hayfield also butts into the marsh. So I had a bird coming out of the marsh, just like fired up like hell for on the ground for the first probably 15 minutes of light. And he got right. I never saw him, but he sounded like he got right to the edge of the marsh where the field meets the marsh, and he gobbled there, which probably was only 50 yards from me. And I don't know if he saw my decoys and didn't like my decoys or somehow saw me, but he never came out in the field, never gobbled again. He must have spooked off. I mean, he must have saw something.
Yeah.
And that kind of pissed me off. And got out of there after that because there was just nothing gobbling, and it was really muggy morning, so I kind of got out of there after that bird had left. And then Thursday after work, I went back, and that stupid Tom in the other field that I hunted on Wednesday morning.
Same circle.
Yeah, he was out there again, and I tried reaping him, and I don't know if he spooked or if he just kind of walked away by the time I had gotten set up. But once I got through the area where I could see where he was gone. And I don't think he spooked because he's still using the same spot, so he probably just moseyed onto a different area.
Right.
But then Friday morning on that same property, there was another field. It's a large property, so there's a lot of areas to hunt, and there's been a group of birds there was 3 toms that I have been seeing very consistently. It's kind of a far walk to get back to this corner of the field, so that's kind of why I was waiting for a perfect morning to go back there,
right?
Making sure it was a killing morning.
Makes sense. So
I've been seeing 3 toms using the corner of this certain field, and then I got set up in there Friday morning. There was actually 5 toms gobbling in this field, roosted right on the corner. And once again, I had set up really close to a bird, probably 50 yard. Not even. I think I ranged it actually. I could see him in the tree. It was 45 yards. And the other ones were about 60, 75, somewhere in there. I never ranged them, but they were freaking close. And this one tom was just second after second, just nonstop on the limb. And I'm thinking, I'm right here, he's right there. What are the odds he pitched pretty much straight down right onto my decoys?
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds? I mean, I feel like they don't fly into decoys like ducks normally.
No, but
I'm like, is he really gonna look at these decoys standing in the same spot that he's been watching for 30 minutes gobbling on a limb? Sure shit, he flew down right on my decoys. It's like 19, 20 yards right on him. I'm like, huh, this is too good to be true. And I actually thought that. I'm sitting with the gun up. I'm like, I just gotta give this a second. Like, I just want to let the bird work for a second, and just looking at my decoys going all crazy. I'm like, this is so cool. The bird literally came down perfectly, and the other ones actually, 3 of them flew down into the field as well, pretty close to me, probably 50 yards. One stayed back into the woods a bit, but man, that one I gave him a couple seconds to play around, and I drilled him. And then the other ones didn't even spook off. They shot gobbled at my shot.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They shot gobbled on my shot. It's like instantly, boom. Yeah. And they didn't even run off. The only time they ran off was when I got up out of my chair to go pick the tom up.
Well, those are unpressured birds.
Yeah, they are.
Like, that's the thing.
But they are kind of pressured. There was 2 other birds.
Oh, really?
There were 2 other birds still off of that property in grade A. Well, one in A, one in B. That's why I only have permission to hunt that property during ENF, the late seasons, because the landowners and their family, they hunt the early seasons. They're not as diehard as us, where they get bonus tags and stuff. But they always kill a bird early season out there. So they are fairly pressured unless new birds move in to the property that haven't been in yet. I don't know. But I do have pretty good luck out there in the late season. But yeah, that was great. And then that weekend, I had the zone 1 tag. That bird that I killed on Friday was actually one of the biggest birds I had killed. That beard on that one, I don't think you've seen it yet.
I haven't seen it in person.
Oh man, dude, the beard is just a freaking donkey. Yeah, it is. It is a rope. But and then Saturday morning up in zone 1, so we hunting out there we hunt in Dodgeville, Wisconsin. So it's about a 2-hour drive for me. Going blind every year. I mean, I don't drive out there to I don't drive out there to pre-scout or anything. There's always birds around.
Kind of fun.
Yeah, there's always birds around. I always hear gobbling. I always see birds. Just hard to hunt because I don't really know exactly where to go and where to start.
It's a lot of elevation change on that property too, right?
There is.
That's tough.
Very, very hilly. Very hilly. Very, very thick. Very thick. So it makes being mobile kind of hard.
Yeah.
Without spooking them.
You lose a turkey in that fest.
Yeah, you lose seeing them and you just make a shit ton of noise going through it all. So Saturday I kind of got rained out. It was an absolute miserable morning. It was cold, windy, rainy. Again, and I honestly lasted maybe about 45 minutes before I started just getting all wet, and I didn't hear any gobbles. It was so windy. I think the gusts were up to about 50 miles an hour that morning. So I got out of there. Ended up going trout fishing that afternoon and finding my dad had found a new stream we had never fished, really down in the Cup Valley, out of the wind, and man, we did phenomenal. We caught some beauties. Anyways, beside the point, we're talking turkey, right? But yeah, and then that was it for me for Saturday. It was just a shitty day after we got done fishing and stuff. That wind never let up, and I decided our friends we have up there that let us stay with them. We just wanted to go out to dinner and have a good night. Yeah, have a couple beers and just hang out. And to me, it's just not worth hunting in the 50-mile-an-hour winds when you know you're not going to hear anything. It's like, are you really going to see anything?
Well, his turkeys aren't active in that stuff.
No, it was nasty. And Sunday's forecast was pretty nice, so I was thinking I don't want to blow and spook any birds out going into roost. I'll just let them be.
Right.
So I went in Sunday morning, set up on an area that I know birds kind of frequent and roost. The thing on this property is they never really roost in the same spot very often, which makes it a little difficult.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I went into an area where a couple of years ago, actually 2 years ago, there was a good amount of birds roosting on the side of the property. So I set up like around what I thought was the 100-yard mark from where they normally roost, and was trying to hope to hear one and draw one off the roost. And there was one. Only one tom on this property, and the property I hunt, I don't hunt our friend's property for turkeys. I hunt the neighbor's. He's generous enough to let me hunt. It's a big property. It's like 250 acres or so. And there's only one bird on the property that morning. Only one gobble that I could hear. I mean, the one bird that was gobbling like a son of a bitch, so he was going crazy.
Yeah.
And it was about 150 yards from me. He ended up flying down away from me, going the opposite direction, and he was just going crazy on the ground. Crazy. Like, I was like, God, why is he not coming in? And I wasn't calling at him a ton. Just like every little noise, a mourning dove, a crow, a goose flew, or anything, just call. I'm like, God, come on, come this way. Called at him a couple times, and he instantly answered. So I sat it out for a bit, but he wouldn't come in. So I then tried to cut him off. Ended up going around where he was in a hayfield past the fence line. So I had a really nice fence line that covered me from sneaking up on him. So the fence line's kind of like on a hill. Field goes downhill, comes up through the woods, which comes on another hill. So I had this entire hill blocking me to get to this hayfield. And that was perfect. I could get to the fence line without him ever seeing me.
Yeah.
I got to the fence line, and he was at 70 yards with 3 hens. And I'm like, damn it. And I didn't have my reaping decoy with me. And he was so defensive over these hens, dude. I've never seen it come.
You probably would have reaped him.
Yeah, I bet I could have pissed him off with the reaper. Like, you can't believe.
Why did you bring the reaper?
It's so thick. I can't walk. I can't walk with that log.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
If you saw the property, it's all multiple rows and all this oak brush and nasty shit. I can't walk through 250 acres of woods with that shit. So I need to figure out a way to do that, though, because there was multiple times this year where I'm like, I wish I had this thing strapped to my back and I could stalk and reap them. I got to figure something out for that maybe next season. But anyways, I see this, and like I was saying, he was so defensive over these hens. like there's 3 hens, and he was just doing circles around them, full strut, like just really trying to impress her, really, really going crazy. So I know for damn sure if I had that reaper, I could have killed that bird so easily. But I sat it out, and he was just staying in that circle kind of area with his hens at about 70 yards, and I was hoping just to get him to come in a little bit, and one hen comes right at me, broke off and comes right at me. I'm like, here we go. He's following. He's going to follow. Nope, he stayed with the other 2. Damn it. And they just stayed there. And where he was about, I'd say 35 yards off the fence line in another area. Like I said, super thick to walk through, kind of difficult. So I didn't really want to try to crawl down this fence line and get to that 35-yard mark without spooking him. Right. But after about 15, 20 minutes of watching him, I'm like, he's not going anywhere. Like, I got to try to, I once again, getting overzealous. He might have came right to me if I just waited. But I decided I had to move and try to cut him off through that fence line. So I belly crawled down this thick-ass fence line. I peeked my head up. Where do you think he was? He was right where I was standing. He had moved. I don't know if I spooked him down to that side of the fence line. He was right 15 yards from where I was watching him for 20 minits. Right there. I can't count how many times we've done that. That's where they were. And he gobbled. When I saw him, he gobbled right there. He's just like, fuck you! I'm like, you bastard.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. Like I said, I don't think I spooked him that way. I think he just went that way. It took me, I only belly crawled maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 yards-ish down this fence line. But that 40, 50 yards is so thick, it took me probably 10 plus 15 minutes to...
Dude, it sucks crawling in that stuff.
It took me a while to get to the spot I wanted to get to, just to see him right where I was.
Yeah.
God, yeah, did that again. But I ended up having to go home that afternoon from the little weekend trip, and that was the only tag I left unfilled this year. But only 2 days to hunt, which really turned into one, with Saturday being pretty much a rain out.
With no
previous scouting, nothing.
Which is tough.
Which is fine. I mean, that was... If you saw the property, it's just a fun property to hunt.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Hills are fun.
It's challenging. It's just a cool property. It's really hilly.
Yeah.
I just like being out there, and I got really close to killing a bird out there this year, and got to experience a fired up bird, which is always cool. And I kind of jacked up. I wonder if I would have just stayed where I was if he just was on a mission to come down the alley.
Sounds like you would have killed him, but
but whatever.
That's like part of turkey season.
Whatever. That's just how life goes.
Right, for sure. And
that was
period F. Before period F, I got to pee. Do you have to pee? You want to take a pee break?
I don't have to pee.
Okay, I got to pee, so we're going to take a break.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, we're back.
Back on.
Back on. So, period F. So, before we talk about what happened in period F, I had a baby, and then period F. So I decided for period F, if I was going to have a chance, one spot we hunt, we don't really hunt together, but sometimes we hunt together. But anyways, one specific place that we both have permission to hunt is about 45 minutes away from me. So can't really hunt it before work. Can't really hunt it after. I mean, I can, but it's tough.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I got to get something close to the shop, which has been long overdue anyway. So I picked up 80 acres literally right down the street from the shop while I was on my baby moon, or whatever you call it. I don't know. Maternity leave.
Maternity leave. That's probably the technical term. Yeah.
That's the appropriate term.
Yeah.
While I was supposed to be home taking care of my wife, I picked up 80 acres of turkey hunting and had a ton of birds on it, which was great. So, that's where I ended up hunting for F. But I think you killed your turkey before I had my F experience, so we'll let you go first.
Yeah, I did, because you didn't hunt until Friday.
I didn't hunt until Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. So back to Wednesday morning of period F.
Wednesday morning was the only day that I had an eligible tag in my hand that I did not hunt. And I think we got about 2 inches of rain that day.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Thunder.
Yeah, I was supposed to hunt that day.
Yep.
And I said, nope, I'm staying home.
I actually ended up, we didn't even work that day because we were working outside, and it was just an all day. I don't think it stopped raining until like 9, 10 p.m.
No.
Rained the entire day. And then, yeah, that was a waste of a day. That was the only day that I had a tag in my hand that I could hunt that I did not hunt, thanks to the weather. I'm talking about it now. There was kind of a lot of shitty weather.
Yeah, it was.
We had down.
It was bad weather.
Yeah,
bad weather year for sure.
But then there was some beautiful days, like Thursday morning.
That's Wisconsin, though, right?
Yeah, Thursday morning following that rainstorm, that big rainstorm. I don't know what it was. It had to be that storm and those birds, because the Tuesday before was part of that same rainstorm.
Okay, yeah.
At least not by me. I think we got that whole rainstorm. We got like 2.5.
It was a lot.
2 or 3/4 inches of rain. Tuesday was rainy too, so those birds were probably pretty shut up for Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then Thursday morning was gorgeous.
Yep.
I mean, dead calm. Sun was out. It had that feeling in the air.
Right.
And oh my God, when the birds fired up,
yeah,
like gobbling, like you can't believe.
Especially after that rain.
Yeah,
that always gets them going.
And I hunted the same field. I started in the same field where I killed that fat rope beard period E-bird, because there were still 4 of the birds hanging in that area, and those 4 were still generally using the field in different areas of the field, but they were always in that field. So I set up in that same field where I killed the period E-bird, about 150 yards from where I killed that bird. I tried to centralize myself a little more to try to get him cut off one way or the other. And I think my setup was kind of stupid, and I just wanted to try something because I didn't know if it would work or not, but I hunted the field, and I didn't bring any decoys out with me. The only reason I didn't bring decoys is because I figured all those toms, not even a week prior, saw my decoys, saw me in the field.
Yeah. Thought
they would kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together. There's those decoys out there again. Yeah. Not going over there because Jimmy got his head blown off. So I didn't use any decoys, and all the birds were gobbling very, very aggressively in the morning on the limb. Only one flew down in the field, and he flew down at about 90, 100 yards-ish around that area. And I let out 2 little clucks on the call. He perked up right away, and he was coming on a string to me. And I only called like once after that. He was just coming, just chugging. I'm like, oh, my setup's gonna work with the no decoys. He's gonna come searching, and I'm gonna get him. He got to about 65-ish yards, and a stupid hen flies down in the other corner of the field. And he somehow sees this hen. And mind you, this hen was probably 200 yards from me and well over 100 yards from him. And he sees this hen, flips his head back, and now me, my missing hen that he can't find, my little calls, is not important to him because now he's got a live hen in the field.
Right.
He turns around, instantly walks right at him. I'm like, damn it. I needed not even 10 more minutes. I needed just a little bit. So
you can never compete. Nobody can compete with that.
And I wondered if I had a hen decoy out or just some decoy setup. If he would have said screw that, he's sticking with the original plan. But he didn't. He turned and walked to the other side of the field. And on this particular field, it's all surrounded by little bushy Christmas tree pines, and I got great cover to sneak all the way around. So I let him do his little thing, dancing around over by that hen, and time was ticking. I kind of had to get going. So I tried making a move. I crawled through all these pines, poked out I think at the farthest, once he fully walked away from me, was probably 200 yards away. Yeah. So I poked out once. He was at 80. Crawled a little bit more, poked out, and I ranged him at 57. And to me, an ethical turkey shot is 40 and in. I killed one bird once at 61 yards. Don't ask me how the hell I did that. I spooked the bird. I shot it on a run and stone cold killed him at 61 yards.
That's far for a turkey pattern. That is far. You hit it with one bead.
I should not be taking shots that far.
No, that's far.
My dad killed one once at 53, stone cold, flat out.
53.
That was 51, I think. 51. Yeah, those are far
That's
shots.
fun.
And I mean, some people will tell you it's unethical to take shots like that. I mean, they can pound sand up their ass, as far as I'm concerned.
With the freaking shots they have nowadays, like in chokes, 50 is. It's not a bad shot. It's not optimal, but it's very doable.
It's doable. Yeah, it's whatever. Anyways, so I have this bird at 57, full strut, and I'm out of cover. The pine trees end, and it just turns into an L-shaped field. So I'm fully out of cover once I step. But once again, I did not have the reaper. I did not have my reaping decoy just because it's so hard to maneuver.
It's big.
Yeah. So I then watch this bird for another 10, 15 minutes, and I'm thinking, I'm like, 57.
He's doing that.
I'm like,
this is girl math.
I'm like, can I do it? I'm like, why can't he just walk like 7 yards closer? Right. 50 would make me feel a lot better. And then the hen started maneuvering away, going farther away, and then he started moving farther away. And I'm like, and I'm going on vacation with my girlfriend for the next 4 days.
Yeah.
So I don't have 4 days to hunt. And I'm like, it's do or die. 57 yards. He's getting one.
It's looking pretty good.
He's getting one. I put it on his head and he flew away. So I missed that bird. Not a bad miss. I'm not mad about it. It's stupid, and I hope I didn't pepper that bird and leave him with BBs all over his body, but
I'm sure he did.
I don't know. He flew away just fine.
They're high, they're so tough. I think at that 60, 70, I think they bounce off, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. So he flew away, and I was a little bummed, and I'm kind of thinking, why would I even take a dumb shot like that? So, whatever. I walked it off, and I had a long walk back to the field and to my car from the field. And I had about 45 minutes of time left before I had to get myself ready, go back to the house, pack my lunch, and go to work. And so I generally try to get all my permission properties within 10 minutes of my house because I really do have my best luck hunting those weekdays.
Oh, for sure.
So I get everything really close to the house so I can stay in the area, not have far drives in the morning to and from the house, so I can get ready for work and stuff. So there's another property about 5 minutes, 6 minutes from where I was hunting that there's been birds sporadically hanging out in, not on a consecutive pattern, but it was every other day, enough to make me want to drive by it. And I was thinking, I'm like, fuck, do I just go home and make some eggs and get ready to go to work? And I just missed a bird, and I'm like, it's beautiful out there. I bet there's gonna be birds in that field. And then I got to the truck, I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going home.
And you had texted me and said, I just missed one.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm going home. I'm done. And then I turned the corner, and on a property that I do not have permission to hunt, there was a tom strutting in a field, and in the distance I could see in another field there was another tom strutting. I'm like, man, birds are out today. They're fired up today. So I decided then to just drive down the other road to the other farm that I have permission to hunt, and I slowly drive by, and I'm driving, I'm like, there ain't shit out here. And then tucked in this little L-shaped corner of the field, I'm like, there's 5 toms strutting. 5 full strut toms on this property. And I'm like, good Lord, how am I going to do that? So if I were to drive down this lady's driveway where I normally park, she's got a very long driveway, probably quarter-plus mile driveway. I'd gravel loud as shit. They'd see my truck, I'd spook them, I'd have no way down. So I drove all the way to the other side of the property on the road, parked on the road, crawled up. Her driveway is kind of like, it's like a farm road more so than a driveway that kind of goes to the barn, and her house is behind the barn and whatnot. And it's surrounded by little hedge bushes. So I walked up the driveway, down through these bushes, and then the bushes make an L shape into the field, kind of splitting 2 different fields together.
Yeah. So I could
pretty much have full cover up until the main field where these birds were hanging out in.
Yeah.
And then I did this. I kind of just kneel walked, whatever you want to call it, up the bushes in this lady's driveway, not in the driveway, but on the edge of the driveway, till the field turned into an L, and I followed those bushes in and got to the very last bush that gave me cover, and I could see that the birds hadn't moved at all. So I'm like, great, now I'm in position. And I did. This is a reap, so I have the reaper fully set up. ready to go. So I stick the Reaper out just a little bit out of the bush. I kind of turn it side to side, give it a little action, and the birds all times, they all looked at me, and they all 5 gobbled at one time. So cool. Yeah, and they all went full strut, all faced me. So I got 5 fans looking right at me down a line in this corner. I'm like, I pissed them off.
The cameraman.
I'm like, I pissed them off, and they are coming. And they all let out one more gobble. And dude, full sprint. I mean, they cleared about 150 yards in seconds. And I let them come in. I killed the one at 10 yards. It might have even been less than 10 yards. I don't know. But when they hit about that 15-yard mark, they all 5 gobbled right in front of my face.
Jeez.
And they would have came to beat my decoy up above 11. If I didn't shoot that one at 10 yards, they would have came. And the whole time that they were running in, it was just just gobbling the entire time as they're running.
Oh, cool.
It was the biggest adrenaline rush. And I reaped one last year with that same scenario where some people knock on reaping and say it's not ethical. But that is one of the biggest adrenaline rushes when you get them things fired up, running in at you like that.
What's the difference of reaping and setting a decoy?
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly,
it's the same thing.
And I'm not just trying to defend it because we do it, but what's the difference? Like, there is none.
It's just a decoy.
I think it's stupid to do on public land. It's a good way to get shot.
I think it's, yeah.
But on private, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think those are haters again.
That was one of the coolest experiences I've had turkey hunting. You know, it's different when one comes in all fired up and does that same shit, and it's super exciting. But there's 5 mature, all very large toms come in.
I can't even imagine what that sounded like.
It was so cool. And when they, like, for me, I shot the one probably from me to your shovel away, hanging on the garage wall over there. And they gobbled just before they got to that point. Right in your face. So stuck the barrel through the fan and popped the one.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that was the end of my turkey hunting. For the season, I successfully harvested 3 toms. So that was, for me, leaving only 1 tag unfilled, being that zone 1 tag and filling all my zone 2, my hometown tags. That was one of my best seasons ever.
Yeah, so A, E, and F.
A, E, and F were all harvest down in zone 2, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Man, I wish if I could have been, I wish so much I could have been there for that.
That last time would
have been so cool.
And the stupid thing is, just like period E, where those birds didn't really spook when I shot, if I had more bonus tags,
you could have shot the others, yeah.
If I had a semi-auto, oh yeah, we could have quadded.
2 reapers.
Dude. If I had a semi-automatic gun and like 3 tags in my pocket, I shot the one, drop it, and the other ones didn't move. I could have shot, I could have just kept shooting. I mean, they literally didn't even move. And it was once again when I got up to go get the bird off the ground.
That's crazy.
They're like, what the hell just happened? And it's like, man, I wish I'd have bought a couple more tags, but they can't be greedy.
I wish you had a GoPro.
Yeah, that'd been cool.
It's you know what's tough about trying to like video stuff is it doesn't happen when you want it to, That's the thing. You have to video everything.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, like those memories, and every memory I make hunting, whether it's a successful harvest hunt or whether it's just being out in the woods seeing something cool, the memory is just
locked in.
It's locked. Yeah,
that's so cool.
It's fully in the brain.
Right, 5 of them screaming at you.
It was so cool, and sometimes it's like, boy, I wish I had that on video so people. And I do have the video of them all running away as I'm walking in the field.
Right,
There's 4 toms with 1 dead on the ground, and they're at 50 yards running away. But it would have been cooler to have a video of them running in, full strut, gobbling, beat red.
We'll get it one of these days.
Cool.
Those mornings are. I wish I could come and video for you, but those mornings before work are tough for me to get out there. But yeah. So freaking hell of a season.
Yeah, well, let's talk about your period F.
So F for me started right after you tagged out. So you were done chilling on the couch. Everybody was chilling on the couch, and I had to go back to work trying to kill a turkey. So I started on that new property Friday morning. So I put a little Moultrie camera out the day I got permission from the farmer out there. Because that was 2.5 weeks before F, I think.
Yeah,
2 weeks before F.
It was about him.
So I just wanted to see, what could happen. So I walked around, found a shitload of freaking prints, turkey shit, ton of stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, this looks like a good spot. So to break down the property, it's not an amazing property to hunt. It's mostly just ag. But so it's basically like big ag field, tree row, big ag field, and then a marsh to the south of both of those fields.
Okay.
The marsh is a different farmer, which I'm going to try to get permission from him for next year. But anyways, so long story short, I find all the prints, and what I'm seeing is the birds are coming from one ag field through the fence row, through the trees to the other ag field. So I set a camera up. There's like a little creek in the middle. I set a camera up right there. Go pull that card the Friday after we had Bodie. Me and Sadie went out there and pulled that card. Sure as shit. A couple big toms standing right in front of my camera. I'm thinking to myself, like, it's a chip it.
Yeah.
Nobody, like, there is another kid who turkey hunts, but he didn't get an F tag. So I'm like, and he hadn't hunted all year. He didn't even hunt this year. So I'm like, okay.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So I'm like, nobody has pressured these birds.
Right.
I watched them going to different jobs from work, hanging out in that field. Like, this is literally a chip it. Like, I'm going to sit there. I'm going to shoot one at 5 yards. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
So that's what's going through my head. So I pull the camera, bring it home, see the birds. So then that next week is period F. So all your shit transpires. Wednesday, I was going to hunt, see text the farmer, hey, still cool if I come out? Yeah, sure. Text him back, it's going to rain, I'm not coming out. So I decided on Friday, look at the weather, Friday's the day. So I go out Friday morning, free plug, Fit to Hunt YouTube channel. There's a video that'll be out by the time this comes out about all this. You can watch all this in 4K, but I go out Friday morning, 3:30. You gotta love the early turkey morning.
Yeah.
So early, dude. So go out there, get set up. So I set up basically facing where that camera was the first day. Going off the intel I had, that was the best thing I could do. And, fully expecting 15 minutes into the day, a turkey's going to come walking right by and I'm going to smoke it because that's what I thought was going to happen. So get out there and they're just firing off everywhere.
That was a nice morning.
Yeah, both mornings I got to hunt were beautiful.
Yeah.
It was not a weather issue.
Yeah.
Firing off. So what I've learned is they roost on the property line tree row, which is a problem because hindsight now what I know is they very rarely go to the property that I have permission on. Now, unfortunately, when I pulled the camera, I had them a couple of days in a row, which why they were there those days, we'll never know. And then not,
So are they roosting at that marshy property?
They're roosting. So the marsh is on one side of the hard tree row that they roost in.
Okay.
So there's marsh, roost trees, ag. I have permission on the ags, but only half of the one. Even if I had, so he owns half of the one field. So trees, the field is in half. I have this side of the field. I don't have that side.
Gotcha.
What I'm learning is they're roosting and they're going to the field goes down where I can't see them anymore. They're flying down there and they're flying to the marsh. So they rarely actually fly towards where I have permission. Now, the good news is this farmer knows that farmer. I should be able to get permission on those for next year.
Nice.
And hopefully can set up where they're actually flying down. But, long story short is I set up where I thought would be a good place to set up the first day. And I haven't even got to tell you all the full details of this, but so, I'd say 20, 30 minutes goes by after shooting light and they're still just hammering. I'm calling at them a little bit. They're hammering. They finally get down and they're still hammering. Mm-hmm. And I know where they're at, but it's 150 yards into land that I don't have permission on.
Right.
And there's a ton of hens with them because I can hear them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like...
Sometimes that makes it hard to tell.
It's like, how am I going to get them off?
Yeah.
I can't crawl to them because I can't
There's no cover.
Even if there was a way to crawl to them, but I don't have permission to get on that piece, so I'm not going to trespass, obviously. So I'm just sitting there enjoying an amazing show, listening to them, but I can't do anything about it, and I'm getting a little bummed. And I'm sitting there, and then I think it was probably about 7. So I had to work this day. Mm-hmm. So this was a before work hunt, which was the first time I've done that because I've never done that. So, it's probably around, I guess looking back, it had to be around 6:30 because I started work at 8 that day. So it's probably around 6:30, 6:45. I had pivoted instead of facing the one way in the tree line. I was hearing all the gobbles behind me, so I completely abandoned that plan where the camera was facing and started looking the other way. So I'm sitting there kind of glassing where I think they are in the trees, and as I'm glassing, it's kind of funny. The turkey pops out of the woods while I'm glassing, and it looked to be a big turkey from there. I mean, he was every bit 200 yards away. Yeah. And he pokes his head out. I'm like, okay, that's a good sized bird. Now, I do think it was a Jake. It was a big Jake. If it was a Jake, it was a big Jake. I mean, you saw the video. I think it looked like,
it's hard to tell. It was acting like a tom, though. It was acting like a tom.
It could have been a tom. When it got closer, it kind of seemed more Jake-like, but regardless of what it was.
It's kind of hard to tell in that video, to be honest with you.
It's a little grainy. Yeah. GoPro, a little grainy sometimes, but I would have been happy to kill it regardless. But so I see him at 200 yards, and he's by himself, and he finally popped over 200 yards into the land I can hunt. So I'm like, sweet, it's go time. I rip one call, and he puffs up, turns, and starts coming. He wasn't running, but he was moving quickly. Yeah. He wasn't sprinting or anything. It took him a while to get there.
Did he strut at all?
Yeah, I mean, he was full strut.
Oh, then that was...
He puffed up.
Did he have a Jake fan?
Again.
Like a Jake fan, you can tell those top feathers are taller than the side feathers.
Correct. And looking back, in the heat of the moment, I'm all jacked up.
Otherwise,
it's a big tom.
Otherwise, he's going to have that wide fan on the...
It was not that wide. Okay. So I do think it was Jake, like I said, looking back. But regardless, he puffs up a little bit, starts coming over, and I'm like, oh, sweet, sweet, sweet. So he gets, and like I said, this is where I haven't even got to talk to you about this. So he gets to about 100 first, and he stops. And he walked back in the tree line.
From where he came from?
From where he came from. Oh, like I said, I didn't get it described to you yet, fully over text. So he walks back in the tree line, and I'm like, shit. And here's where we have the same thing in common. The wheels, they start turning, and I'm like, I'm going to blow it, I'm going to blow it, I'm going to blow it. I got to do something, I got to make a move. So I move. So I get up, and I crawl my way all the way around. So the tree line that he was coming down ended probably about 75 to 80 yards away from where I was sitting, and then it's just open field. There's nothing but open field from him to me. Now, he was coming down that tree line. He poked into it. So I, thinking I'm going to be smart, I'm going to work my way around to that edge. So if he pops out of that edge again, 80 yards away from me, I'm right here. So the turkey's doing this. Instead of me being over here, I cut to where I was like this.
Oh, I see.
Which honestly was a smart move. Like, I don't think it was a bad move.
Yeah.
But he was going to come all the way, unfortunately. And I learned that the hard way. So I get to here, and you can see all this on the GoPro footage. I get to here, and I hear him again. And I let off a little rip, and he lets off a little rip. And unfortunately...
He gobbled? Because the Jake's, you can tell a Jake gobbled.
Yeah. It was quiet, so... Again, I think it was a Jake. Like, it wasn't like big. It wasn't that deep, like that high, no drumming. It was like that high pitch. Like, it's like a lesser goose, right? It's like that higher pitch call, right? So he lets off that little rip, and then, but unfortunately, and maybe he just sensed that I was there. I don't know. What was happening is he was going straight for where I was. So I was on that corner. If he would have kept coming straight down the tree line, he would have been at 10 yards.
Oh, man.
But he was angling to go right towards where I was. So he did walk right in front of me like I wanted, but he was at like 50 yards because he was angling towards where I was.
Oh, man.
So hindsight, if I would have stayed in my freaking seat and been patient, he probably would have worked in to where I could have killed him.
Oh, man. Yeah, it happens, though, dude. Everyone does that shit.
So he comes to 50, and I see him for a split second, and I'm like, oh, it's him. He's here. It's 50. And he saw me for sure. I mean, you can tell in the video. He saw me and then turned. And once they turn, I say it 100 times, hitting a turkey walking away from you is like a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
Like,
not a super ethical shot.
I shot, wish I wouldn't have, but I did. You get impatient. Didn't even wing him. I mean, he freaking trotted off like it was a Sunday afternoon stroll, so I know he's fine, but it sucks. And I'm not the most experienced turkey hunter, so these are the things you learn.
Dude, I mean,
it just happens.
Back when I really started to get into, like, heavily into turkey hunting and, like, really prioritizing it, because I've always enjoyed turkey hunting, but it's really only been about 5 years, maybe 4 or 5 years that I've really
went hard,
since I've been like, this is the shit, dude. Like, right. I love this because I never even really used to buy bonus tags much when I was, like I said, I started going pretty hard about 5 years ago, and I'd always, most of the time, be pretty successful in shooting my drawn tag period Tom. Like, I'd get one, and I'd love it. I thought it was super cool, but I don't know, something just clicked in me, like 5 years or so, and I'd love it. I buy as many bonus tags as I can, and it's
a blast.
I hunt every day.
It's a blast.
Beside the point, I used to think when people would tell me they'd miss a turkey with a shotgun, I'm like, are you stupid? Like, that was my initial thought.
Right.
Since then, since I've been going pretty hard, I've missed 4 birds.
Yeah.
In the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
With a shotgun.
You missed one every year, really.
Yeah. I missed 2 last year. I missed 1 2 years ago. I missed 2 last year. And I missed 1 this year on a not so great shot opportunity. But still, dude, it's not hard to miss a bird with a shotgun. It's really not.
I mean, you think about what you're aiming at, and the size of it.
I mean, granted, it's a shotgun. You got a pattern going out there. Like, it's a great opportunity.
But those
you do miss. Yeah.
Those 50-yard shots are just 50-50. I mean, it is what it is. But
yeah, you do miss, and sometimes you just get your adrenaline takes over. Sometimes, and
that's what it was.
You flinch, you torque your gun, you do something, and I know damn well the first time I ever missed was me. Way, way too excited. I made a great stalk on a group of birds. Got in range.
I know this one.
The 7 times.
Yeah.
And one pass.
Poked over a hill.
Yeah, I poked.
And you just aimed at all of them and shot.
Well, they were all together 7 times. 7 times all together. And I just got so excited. I had the same scenario in that same Zone 1 property, the hills. You can use the hills to your advantage like crazy.
Right.
And I did that. They were at the bottom of a hill in a valley, and I could get right to the top in thick cover. And they never heard me, never saw me. 30 yards, 7 toms, all grouped up, and I'm just like, I did it! Boom! And I remember
you telling me that.
I literally just brought the gun up and just thought I picked one, and I really didn't. And I saw it. I can see my wad still going like 2 feet over her head. I'm like, what the fuck was I doing, dude?
See, I saw the wad go 2 feet short of him.
Yeah. And that was a bad miss. That was my worst turkey miss ever. And it just happens. So adrenaline, timing, you're excited, you're worked up.
It happens. Yeah, so that was the first day, and then, boy, was that a long day at work. Oh, yeah. When you have to go to work after this, dude, I was so mad. I feel bad for anybody I interacted with that day. So that was that day. Hunted the next day, same scenario. They were gobbling their ass off. Nothing really I can do about it, I had to learn the hard way that I was not on the X. I was next to the X. Did call in 3 coyotes that second day.
No.
And I didn't shoot them, which pisses me off.
Oh, man.
Because I really thought, Oh, I mean, they were coming to me. You can see them on the YouTube video. They're like, coming to me.
That'd be cool. I love shooting.
I wanted to shoot them so bad, but I still thought that I was going to call a turkey.
Yeah, I've done that too. I have done that with coyotes and turkeys.
That's the first time I ever see that, though. That was cool.
I see a lot of coyotes
coming,
and turkeys.
Right?
I see more I see more coyotes during turkey season than deer season.
It's crazy. And, that probably affected those birds, too, because those between me and the birds.
They spook turkeys, I guess.
So maybe one would have ended up happening, but, long story short, didn't work out. And I don't know. It's all part of it, I was down about it, obviously pretty hard at first. And it just, I don't know, man. It's part of it. And I genuinely love hunting so much. Like, it affects me. You can ask Cassie. I was pissy for a couple of days. I mean, mad. But I love it so much that I always find a way to be like, here's the lesson to learn. Here's how to get better. There's always next year.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Yeah. No, and it's just you got to
learn from it.
You learn every year, and I know you learned a lot. You were saying you learned a lot about calling this year, which is a huge aspect of turkey hunting.
Yeah.
You picked up another permission property. That's another big plus.
Yeah.
Each year that goes by, successful or not,
right,
still hunting. You're still learning. You're still going to be better the next year.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, yeah, just from so anybody out there who's wondering how you kill 3 turkeys in a season, I think just listening to you talk, it is being relentless, and that's how you're successful.
And like a lot of the
keep going.
A lot of the things that I would say help. I ask everybody permission where I see a starting tom. If there's a tom, come 2 or 3 weeks before the season. If there's a tom starting in that field, I'm going to go ask them permission.
Yeah.
A lot of farmers, now homeowners with some land are a little different, but farmers in the area I live in do not like turkeys. I've had multiple farmers tell me that they just want to let turkeys go, and they pluck their seeds out of the planted fields, blah, 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 whatever. So they're pretty willing to give you permission. So that's one thing that I do is try to pick up as many spots as I can. Whether I hunt half of them, whether I hunt one of them, whether I hunt all of them, they're there to scout. If a bird is on them while I'm driving by and that bird is transitioning through property, so I can try to cut that bird off. It's just what I try to do, is get as many spots as I can. And the second thing that this year specifically that really helped me was evening scouting. If you know where a bird is going into a roost, at least you're confident waking up in the morning. There's nothing worse than waking up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning with no confidence, no clue in the world, nothing. But if you're waking up the next morning and you saw a bird roost in a certain area and you're at least going to go in there, you can get close, you're going to hear gobbles, and you've got a damn good chance of either calling this bird down or having him fly down close to you and having him see your decoys. That to me is a huge confidence booster.
Yeah.
If I can visually see those birds going into a roosting area and know that I can go in there the next morning without waking them up and hunt, I feel fully confident.
I mean, that's something I just learned from you tonight.
Yeah.
I've never scouted at night.
And I've done it before. I did it last year, and because of doing it last year, I killed one bird. Did I take a lot out of it, or did I just think it was coincidence? Not really. But this year, I kind of really realized, like, hey, if I pick out these evening spots, I'm going to be close to them in the morning.
Yeah.
More times than not, they're going to stay in the same spot all night.
It's 50-50.
So, I mean, that's just what I found. And this year, I would say there's only one the 2 birds I killed, one in A and one in F, were all because of night scouting. Obviously, the reaped one was not because of night scouting. It was just because I saw birds in the field and brought the reaper out. But, yeah, I mean, taking that out of it, like next year, I'm going to use that same...
Yeah, I am too now.
That same aspect and just try to see where it's going at night.
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge, So for anybody out there who thinks you're just lucky because you get a hunt in your backyard, I think, if anything, we've learned that you hunt your ass off, and, that's why you're successful.
It is great having the property to hunt.
You still got to go, though. You still got to go.
It's still land, but I didn't kill a turkey out there this year.
Yeah.
I shot 3 times, and I never fired the gun out there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if I hunted there every single day, maybe I would have. Maybe not. I don't know. But the birds were difficult out there this year. After my dad killed one, and my good friend Kurt, who hunts out there, also previous tenant, he killed one out there.
Yeah.
So I mean, the birds were fairly pressured and smart.
Yeah.
So
did he kill a good one?
Yeah, really nice bird.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so great turkey season. Long story short, it was great.
Yeah.
Lots of filled tags, a few unfilled tags, but lessons learned and great memories made. So the only bummer about this turkey season was that we never actually got to sit together. That's always fun. We've always tried to do that. It didn't.
I did miss that this year, but sometimes
it just doesn't work out.
Just gotta grind it out.
Right.
Go.
But it was fun.
And that's the one thing, turkey hunting. If I'm the one behind the gun and I want to go, if I hear I'm going. I'm just going. Like if I hear a gobble, 400 yards away and nothing else is close to me, I'm going. Yeah. See ya. Bye. You can't keep up. Stay back.
Right. That's why I don't like the blinds. Like I hunted out of that blind this year. I hated it.
Yeah.
You can take that thing down.
That thing is still there.
Yeah, you can take it.
So the hailstorm, the windstorm.
You just feel like such a moron. Like I'm just sitting here in this freaking blind. Like they got to see it. They got to.
They are nice. And if I were to bow hunt turkeys more, I would sit in a blind. Yeah, and I would try to decoy them in and get them 10 yards.
I guess for bow hunting it makes sense, but I don't know. I don't like sitting in them. I hate them.
I don't love the turkey blinds either. And I mean, I
feel trapped.
A lot of people love them.
Yeah.
I just am not a huge fan of it. I'd rather sit on the ground or sit in one of those ground chairs.
I want options.
Yeah.
I want to have options.
Be mobile.
You ain't getting out of a blind to go stalk quietly. Like, you're not getting out of that blind quietly.
Not that one. That one was so tucked in. That thing was kind of a pile to begin with.
Well, yeah, the zipper sounds like a train coming down the tracks. Yeah. Like, you're just not getting out of it quiet. So, not ideal. Not ideal.
Yeah. But a lot of blinds work out for a lot of people.
Yeah. I think, like you said, archery. They're real good for archery, which eventually
want to do. I mean, a lot of people hunt turkeys different than we do too. A lot of people are a lot more patient and can just sit in a blind for 3-4 hours and just wait till it comes into them. I, on the other hand, I cannot sit and essentially. I always call it bow hunting or deer hunting turkeys. I can't deer hunt turkeys. I cannot wait for them to come to me. I want to go to them.
Right.
I want to be cutting them off. I don't want them to be coming down like a trail to me.
I mean, I don't know anybody who's, if you say Drew and Josh, the first word that comes to their mind is patient.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really thinks we're
I am very patient bow hunting deer.
Yeah.
I have sat sun up to sundown more times than I can count.
Me too.
But
it's different.
The turkeys, it's like 30 minutes without a gobble. I'm like,
dude, if I bow hunted whitetails like I turkey hunt,
you never kill them.
Dude, I sit for 5 minutes turkey hunting, and if I don't see a turkey, I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
And it's just the vocalization of them because, so say you set up in an area in the morning, okay, 30 minutes in, I haven't heard anything under 300 yards, but over there, I'm where I can hunt, probably 400 yards away, they're going to town. So why would I stay where they're not, hoping they come to me? Why not just go try to get close?
The grass is literally always greener on the other side of the fence when it comes to turkey.
And sometimes it just screws me over.
Yeah.
But other times I've killed a lot of birds to it.
It works too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
But man, I truly found just a major passion for turkey hunting over the last 5 years. And it's just, I love it. It's a different time of the year. Now, does it coincide with that early post-spawn fishing season a little bit that sometimes I wish I got out a little bit more for? But I think I'd always rather turkey hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, I love fish in May, but I think I love turkey hunting more now.
Yeah.
And
I would definitely say you do.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, you could be like me and just really suck at fishing and then not have to worry about it.
But then it's like I got all of June, July, and August to fish. So
yeah.
I take all the time turkey hunt that I have and got tags in my hand, I'm hunting.
Yeah, screw fishing.
I love my fishing.
Fishing sucks.
Yeah.
I just eat the snacks. It's like the running joke is if
you eat the fish fries after.
I definitely eat all the fish that Josh catches, and if I go fishing with Josh, I fish for the first hour, lose a lot of stuff, get frustrated, and then I just eat the snacks. It's pretty much how it goes.
Got some nice walleyes in the freezer for you this past week.
Perfect. Fish fry next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, it's been fun talking about the stuff we love and all the passions. And we both got to work tomorrow, so we'll start wrapping this thing up a little bit. But yeah, like I said, I hope we can do these kind of, I mean, we can do them and talk about whatever.
Dude, yeah, whatever.
Specifically, I think it would be fun too. Like, we'll talk before whitetail. We're going out west together this year.
Yeah, we are. We drew that tag. It's awesome.
Yeah, super stoked about that. My first time going out west, so wouldn't want to do that with anybody else. So that's going to be fun. So maybe we'll do a podcast before that, talk about getting ready for that and everything.
Dude,
and then,
we could just
when we get back.
I mean, there's definitely stuff on this podcast we didn't cover that I thought we would.
Oh, for sure. It's so hard to cover everything.
Yeah, in the time frame we have, maybe in between if we're bored.
Yeah, we'll do it.
If you got nothing lined up, we can just
you can come on anytime.
Talk about some other experiences we've had. And
you have an open invitation to be on this podcast. So
yeah.
I want to talk about our pheasant trip.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many.
That's an hour, just that, dude.
Yeah, there's so much fun memories.
I know
that. And
I want to talk about that. It would be fun too.
We'll show to talk about too, kind of some of our old duck hunting memories and kind of how we started really hunting together. We didn't. We talked about how we, met and how we became friends, but we never really talked about how we've kind of transitioned as hunters and how we've built off each other as hunters. So maybe we can do another one
next month, or well, actually, it's the beginning of a month. So the next one,
the next podcast.
Let's line it up. The next podcast, we're going to talk about our transition in hunting from a bunch of jokers in the back of a pickup truck shooting ducks to what we are now.
Yeah,
it's totally different.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Totally different. That'd be good.
Yeah,
and I think that's been big for both of us.
We can cover some of our fun pheasant hunting trip memories.
We'll talk about that too.
Some of our other stuff and
for sure.
All that. But yeah, we've been going for quite a while. We probably should try to get home and get to bed.
Yeah, right. We gotta. Somebody expects us to be somewhere in the morning. Yeah. Because
got no turkeys to kill, so we gotta wake up and go to work.
Go to work. Yeah. Well, you're not getting away without. Which this is a total plot twist here, but the first time anybody's on the podcast, everybody has to answer one question.
Yeah.
And, the name of the podcast is The Vital Pursuit. So obviously this podcast, we've covered a lot already. I've had mental health episodes. I've had episodes about being a parent, being a friend, obviously hunting. We're going to talk about a lot. But one question I ask everybody who comes on the podcast, the first time, you don't have to answer it every time. The first time, I've wrestled a lot in the past couple of years about like time and how fragile life is, and obviously I lost a good friend, and it kind of makes you start wondering like, what am I doing with my life? Like, am I doing the things that matter? Like, time matters, right? So the question I want to ask everybody is the vital question, which is, how would you define success in your life? So, and I mean very personally, like just for you, not you and Aubrey, not you at your job. Like, how, when you lay your head down at night in 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, what do you think would define you being like, yeah, man, I feel like I've had a successful life? It's a deep question, especially after just bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, definitely got to think about that and try to word it right.
Yeah.
But there's 4 to 5 aspects that I look at this. There's me, my selfish reasons, my hunting and fishing success.
Yeah.
Another one would be my relationship success and providing a good, healthy relationship for me and Aubrey. 3 would be faith. Obviously, I'm not 1 through 5 ranking.
Right. Just
but faith and proving myself as a good, faithful Christian.
Yeah.
4 is work. I truly value my work ethic and my job and want to be the best employee that I can be. And another one would be family. So if I can truly say in 30 years that I was successful in making all of those categories happy, if I can make my boss happy, if I can make my girlfriend happy, if I can make my family happy, if I can make God happy, and if I can make myself happy by shooting a lot of turkeys, a lot of deer, catching a lot of fish, I would say I had a successful life. So, I mean, that's kind of how I grew my life. And I have a small circle. I mean, I don't have a lot of people to please.
Yeah.
I definitely lay my head down at night and I probably think about shooting big bucks more than anything. But I also really do value my relationship and trying to make my girlfriend as happy as I can.
Yeah.
I try to be there for my family. And if I am, hopefully all the time, that would make me feel super successful if I do everything that they need. Yeah. If I can please God, I hope my boss values me, but I think I do a damn good job at work. So that would make me feel successful in life. And I don't know. I hope that kind of answers the question.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody's answer is different, but
I can't just pick one specific thing.
No,
because my life is so like there's me, there's my hunting and fishing,
right,
and then there's my girlfriend, and I am super close with my family. Yeah, and my mom and dad are like my best friends.
Yeah, right.
I try to value my faith, and I try to do the very best I can at my job. So all that stuff, those are all the things that affect me in life too, kind of that get me like high in life and that bring me way down in life. It's all that stuff. So if I can successfully please all of those 5 factors, that would make me feel like I have a successful life. Yeah. So I don't know. That's just kind of how I view it.
Yeah. That's good, dude.
I mean, I should throw friends in there too. I mean, that'd be a 6th one. If I can please my friends and keep good relationships with my friends.
I think your list is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
friends can need
because my friends kind of
family.
My friends kind of fall into the family thing because all my close friends essentially are family.
Right.
So
yeah.
That's kind of how I view it.
It's good. Good, dude. All right, well, let's wrap the first one up.
Yeah.
Good time.
It was a great time. It was fun. Yeah. It was fun.
It's good to chat with you. Good to hear all the stories. And let's do it again soon.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
All right. Love you, buddy.
Love you too, buddy. It was fun.
All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. See you soon.
See you guys.
Bye.